Hello, welcome to the first part of this series on how to model a country home on a slope topography. This series is an intermediate level series, therefore to follow along, you need to have some basic understanding of Revit architecture. First off, sketches. It's important to have sketches when trying to achieve some of these things because it's like the first point of your idea before you decide to translate it into the software. So you will find attached to this particular document or somewhere around in a link or something, you'll find attached some sketches that show you the side boundary for this particular exercise. So to begin, I always make use of detail lines to give some kind of guidance, when creating a site or a topo surface. In this particular exercise, I recommend that you make use of a regular form, a regular shaped kind of site. However, you can decide to come up with your own site boundary for whatever, as a hypothetical site boundary for whatever you want to design. So I'm just going to check the elevations and make sure that it's within the side boundary is within the elevation views. To create topo surface, go to Massing and Site, Topo Surface, and then Place Points. After placing those points, you would realize you've created the topo surface. Place the points on the boundaries of the detail lines you have created initially. Go to the elevation view and then duplicate a couple of your levels to represent the levels that you need within the project. I'll need one beneath the AGL and then a couple above what is already there. Now activate your topo surface and then duplicate the points and then change the level of the points so that you have a change in level that creates the slope. Now you might want to make your slope maybe you might want to make it very steep, but it's advisable not to make it as so steep. You can hold Control and drag selection to duplicate the points you have selected. Now because you're selecting on an elevation, it will select the 2 points across the topo surface that actually defines that particular slope, and then it will give a similar slope on the other side of the plane. So like you can see now, what you're doing on this front part is what is affecting the other part of it. So I'm just going to adjust it a little bit so that it's not so steep and then it's a little bit gradual. And a little bit realistic as well. So I'm going to rename the levels so that I don't get confused. You can also do that. Adjust all the level lines so that you know what you're dealing with. That will be it for topos for now. Conceptual massing. To begin conceptual massing, go to your Massing and Site, In Place Mass, and then OK to begin a new mask. Just like we make use of detail lines, you can just draw a rectangle, select all the sides of the rectangle, and then click on Create Form. This would create a cuboid which you can move around your project to sort of give you an idea of what the space in the form of a cuboid would look like. This is typically how I prefer to start massing, because by doing this I have an idea of what I'm dealing with. I have an idea of the program of the floor plan, and I can easily just keep placing those points just like Tetris, and until I have a form in which I can walk around or kind of develop even more or even better. You can copy this form and place it across levels. You can move it to the side. It can give you an idea of what the transition between the top part of that slope to the bottom part of the slope would be like in this case. You can also rotate. The form and then align it depending on what form you're trying to come up with. As you can see, the form is kind of taking or coming together. So this will go on for a while until the form of the entire building, at least most of the spaces, would be catered for or would have been brought out. You might want to think of this as a first draft or first e-draft in your modeling journey, so that you have an idea of what you're dealing with. You don't really need to be concerned if some part of the form is entering into the topo surface. The next aspect of this first part is actually going to show you how you can handle situations like that. So as soon as the forming of this massing is actually done, you can now click on finish massing so that it becomes a solid mass. Building pads. To begin working with building pad, what you need to do is go to massing and then building pads. Building pads also create a slab-like structure and cuts a void in the topography. The key thing about using a building pad is to locate a particular level within your project that you need to use the building pad. As you can see, the building pad will cut a void above where it's been placed through the topography, making it look like a pad just like it implies. The most suitable way to use this building pads is to define the lowest point of your building and then create a boundary along that boundary or that perimeter. And then this would serve as a starting point for that particular project, giving it a level ground. So the main thing you're going to do here is just create a boundary of the perimeter of the basement floor or the lowest floor, whichever the case may be, and then finish the creation. That actually works. What you need to do now is change the level of that so that it cuts through the topo surface, and just like that we have a level or a leveled slab within the slope. Alright, I'll see you in the next part of this series. Bye for now.